Welcome to the HawkCast with your host, AJ Hawk.
Anthony Sullivan, thank you for joining us. Anthony, so for people that are just listening to the audio, not watching our video on YouTube, where would you say you get recognized the most? Like what parts of America, let's start with?
Well, it's funny. Every year we do All-Star Week with Major League Baseball. So we OxiClean sponsors the MLB. So we kind of do the full dog and pony show. Last 3 years we did Cincinnati, and then we went to San Diego, and this year we were in Miami, and it was pandemonium in Miami this year. I can pretty much skate by unnoticed if I don't open my mouth and if I'm just wearing jeans and a t-shirt. But the minute I put this on, blue shirt, khaki pants, it's all over. And there's like a sweet spot. It's like teenagers who are just kind of late teens, early 20s, who sort of grew up with me with OxiClean. They kind of freak out. It's the OxiClean guy. So it's a lot of fun. I mean, you know, if you know what it's like. So I enjoy my interaction with the fans. So back to where the sweet spot is, I found that OxiClean is kind of all over the country, and I think if I throw this on and head out on the street, people get pretty psyched. So I haven't had any real hot spot. I guess where I live is probably St. Petersburg and Tampa area. Everyone knows me here because I do a lot in the local community. So yeah, hopefully that helps you out a little bit.
Yeah, with OxiClean, I'm interested in that. So you're wearing your basic uniform, your OxiClean blue shirt right now that I think is iconic with you. How does that company work? Did you start out as a pitchman? Do you have equity? Like, what's the deal?
So, Billy Mays and I, the late great Billy Mays Jr., who everyone knows, passed away back in 2009. We were friends growing up, coming up through the pitch market, and we had back in Miami in 1994. So what year is it now? 2017. So 23 years ago. I first saw a lady selling OxiClean at the Miami Home Show, and it's just basically a white powder on a table. And this guy called Max Apple, who he was selling this broom called the rubber broom, and he sort of gave OxiClean the name OxiClean, but he didn't have a pitch guy. And he knew me and he knew Billy. And believe it or not, he actually called me from Denver when he first started the company. He said, look, I have this new cleaning product and I need a front guy to do it. Would you be interested in doing it? And I think he reached out to Billy simultaneously. Well, it turned out that I was doing another cleaning product called Extra Clean, and I couldn't do it. So Billy ended up getting the gig, and it was the right gig for the right guy. And he made it fly. So that was 1994. So fast forward 6 years, Billy got on HSN. And Max, and it became very, very successful on a Home Shopping Network, which is at the time, HSN and QVC are the two biggest shopping networks in the world. And he wanted to take it to the next level. And I'd started my production company back in 1998. And Max, it's kind of the owner of OxiClean, had kept tabs of what I was doing, and he knew Billy and I were friends. And he approached me in 2000 and said, would you like to, produce a commercial for OxiClean? And I kind of jumped at the idea of working with Billy, even though we were competitors. And I mean, I say we were friends. Back then, we were more rivals than friends, and you know all about that. And they put us in the room together, and we made the first OxiClean commercial in 2000. So 6 years was when I first saw it. 2000, we were doing commercials together. In the early days, I took a piece of I took a back-end piece of equity. And as the company grew, Max Apple, when I was young in business, I wouldn't have given it up, but he slowly sort of raised the upfront money and lowered the back end money, and so because he realized, I don't think I realized how big OxiClean would become. So initially I had a very, very small percentage stake in the sales, but as the sales grew wider and wider and wider, Max kind of closed that door for me and Billy, and we became guns for hire. And then I basically produced every single OxiClean commercial from 1999 to 2000 to present day. And then it ended up, OxiClean ended up going on to Walmart. The CEO of Walmart, a guy called Lee Scott back in the day, made it what's called a volume producing item. And it became one of Walmart's #1 selling products. So it just grew and grew and grew. And then back in 2005, so 11 years after we started it, the company that owns Arm & Hammer bought it, Church & Dwight out of Ewing in New Jersey, and they paid $325 million in cash for the company. And Max cashed out. Max was like, see you, boys. And Billy and I were like, we didn't know this was going to happen. And all of a sudden, it went from being owned by a family to being owned by one of the, the parent company of Arm & Hammer, one of the oldest brands in America. So luckily for me and Billy, they kind of realized how, how involved we've been in the growth of the company. So they continued to use me as a production arm and him as the spokesperson. So it's always been very profitable. So while we didn't get a stake in the company, which would have been awesome, I'm still very, very involved in the operations and the marketing aspects of it. And then Billy passed away in 2009, and I mean, I went into that was a very, very difficult time for me, and I didn't want to even be on camera. And they approached me in 2000, late 2009. They flew me up to their headquarters and they said, "Look, we need a guy. We need a quarterback." And I, at first, I just was like, look, I don't want to step into, you don't want to step into Brett Favre's shoes, right? It's just like, you don't want to do it. And Billy was like that. But they sort of made a great pitch. They said, if we can make it happen, and if we can make the transition where people understand the friendship between you and Billy, and it was actually this guy called Bruce Fleming. I'll never forget it, because I battled them. I said, look, I don't want to be the OxiClean guy. I just don't think I should do it. I don't think it's the right thing to do. I'm very honored that you asked me. And he sat down with me and he said, what if this is my strategy? He goes, we're going to honor the man and advance the brand. Honor the man in Billy, and we're going to advance the brand. And that's what we're going to do. And he came up with this transitional strategy that you may have seen the commercial. It was Billy. It was like a ghost in the background, and I'll get you a copy. And you see him as an apparition sort of thing in the background. And I reference him being my buddy, and and then went into the OxiClean pitch. And allegedly, the OxiClean fans and the general public really got the connection, and they kind of understood that someone had to do it. And here I am wearing the blue shirt today. So until the next guy comes along. So that's how I got involved in OxiClean. I've been with the company for 20 years. We just wrapped a commercial yesterday, a new creative with this 10-year-old kid. So yeah, OxiClean's really, as long as I've been in America, I've been here 25 years now. So 21 of them I've been with OxiClean. So yeah.
Wow. How did you feel the first time you watched that commercial you shot when you had Billy as the ghost in the background?
I shot it on a green screen. So when I was shooting it, I had to reference, and I think the creative went, my friend Billy, and I'm staring at this green screen, right? And the director's coming over like, just imagine that Billy is this giant figure behind you. And, it's weird, right? Because you're talking to an imaginary person, and in my head, I was actually reading my book recently, and I give a little shout out to Billy in the back of it, and I choked up reading it. I still get emotional when I go there. So when I saw the commercial, I'm like, wow, it kind of hit me. I'm like, wow, that works. I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like, I think Billy would like that if he saw it. And I thought, if Billy would like it, because Billy hated me getting any limelight. Like Billy, when we had our TV show Pitchman, if there was anything to be on camera, Billy was always pushing me out there. I got it, Sal. And I always felt like if Billy was to come back, he would kick me. He'd have his blue shirt off me. He'd get that thing off. But I think he would have been okay with it, because I think while he probably is rolling in his grave that I'm selling OxiClean, I don't think he would have had anyone else do it. But he's not here to argue with me, so.
Yeah, I think it's been a natural transition from when Billy died. So I know some people are probably too young, maybe even if listeners of this, that I remember your show. Was that 2008, 2009 that Pitchman was on?
Yeah, 2008, 2009.
And that was on the Discovery Channel.
It was, yeah. Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. It started April 15th, tax day, relax day. We did 11 episodes together, and it was a whirlwind. And it's a very, very intense time in my life. It's everything happened that year. We went to a Super Bowl together. Me and Billy went to a Super Bowl. It was pandemonium. We were on the Tonight Show with Conan O'Brien and Elvis Costello. Who was it who caught the crazy catch with the Steelers against Arizona?
Santonio Holmes.
Yeah, Santonio was on the show with us, and of course Billy was from Pittsburgh, so he was having a field day with Santonio Holmes. It was that crazy catch, I remember. So we were just having this really amazing year, and Pitchman was very very. It's a great one. I think talking about it last night at dinner, I really enjoyed being part of that.
It was a really good show. And so if Billy would not have died, do you think that show would have run for 8-10 years?
Yeah, I really do. It's frustrating to me because I knew, man, when that show broke, it was April the 15th, and we had a big launch party down here at the Westin. We had 500 people, the who's who of Tampa, everyone was there. I remember waking up the next day, and people come in with the ratings, and they're like, "Your show's a hit," and I didn't realize. I guess it's difficult to have a hit TV show. And we went from being these infomercial guys that people sort of knew us to all of a sudden we got a hit show after Deadliest Catch. So it was an amazing experience. And then we had 12 episodes. And it's actually a funny story. We were booked for 13 episodes. We were paid, we were booked. And the first season of filming was so difficult because it's the first season. I think any first season of any TV show is difficult because you're trying to figure out the format, right? So they called us, the showrunner, this guy Steve Jones, and I was in LA at the time, and he says, "Look, we're not going to do it episode 13, and we don't have enough content for this season, so we're just going to do 12 episodes, and we're going to regroup, and we're going to do season 2." So episode 13 would have been episode 1 of season 2. I didn't care because I was like, who cares? Like, we just season 1, 13, 14, 15, and I'd hung out with Mike Rowe a little bit. And Mike said, it doesn't matter seasons because it's all just how many episodes you do. So I figured episode 13 was going to happen. Well, it's the last conversation I ever had with Billy. So we're on a 3-way call, and Billy's having a meltdown. We got to do episode 13. We got paid. You don't understand. So I'm going through the security at LAX, and I got it on a 3-way call. I got my BlackBerry because I'm actually heading to England. And Billy's on a tirade. He's paying out the showrunner. And it wasn't really his decision. It was Discovery Channel's decision. So he's yelling at the wrong guy. And when Billy would yell, I would just sit there and immediately, I actually put my phone through the TSA scanner with Billy on speakerphone, screaming at me, always yelling at me, "So you got to do something." So anyway, the irony is, so finally, I felt bad. It's the last time I ever spoke to him. The last time I ever spoke to him, I hung up the phone because I couldn't, I was getting on a plane, and he's just on a rant for like an hour. So I don't even think they said goodbye to him. And I just was like, I got to get off this call. So I hung up. Anyway, so I get to San Francisco because I'm going to London from LA. And I'm in San Francisco. So I call the guy back, Jonesy, the guy he was yelling at. And I'm like, hey, man, I hope you and Billy figured it out. But just so you know, I'm in. Season 2 sounds great. And so went to England. This was June 23rd. And he died on the 28th. So the last conversation I ever, and I've thought about this, and don't get me wrong, I miss Billy, and it was a very, very sad, tragic time, but you got to find the smiles and stuff. The last time I ever heard him talk, he was yelling and screaming about not getting episode 13. So he dies. It's a tragedy. That was the day before episode 12. So Discovery Channel calls me, and they're like, we have to do an episode 13, like today. It's got to be the tribute episode. So in his passing away, he got his episode 13. They pulled this tribute episode together. They did a marathon Pitchman set, and they got episode 13, and it was the best episode of Pitchman. It was just this tribute about what everyone loved about him. He's running around the field at the Orange Bowl. They had everyone. So his pissing and moaning and griping he got his 13th episode. And then, of course, I was hit. I was very broken up, and they approached me about doing season 2, and I did it because I thought that's what we should do. We can't give up and quit. But the show, it didn't work without him. It needed him, the show, and frustrated to this day that we never got to make what I think could have been an amazing franchise, showcasing what we do, showcasing the American dream. And I think Shark Tank is run with it. I think Shark Tank, to me, was a very vanilla. If you watch the first couple seasons of Shark Tank, we're going to put, you want to take Ambien, we'll keep you awake more. But once they figured out the mechanics of Shark Tank with O'Leary and Cuban and Barbara and Laurie and the way they've set that show up, I think Shark Tank's done a really good job of and Mark Burnett, he knows what he's doing. He's an amazing producer. But it would have been amazing to keep that show going.
It would have. And I asked that because Billy is a guy I think that everyone knows, like, Billy's face. They know the beard. They know his big black beard now. I don't know if he ever publicly admitted to using some Just for Men dye in there or not. Was that a legit dark black beard that he didn't even touch?
So you're getting the backstage pass here. He would use Just for Men. He had more gray hair than Santa Claus.
Okay.
If I'm not kidding you, if you ever see a picture of Billy's dad could play Santa Claus. Well, Billy was getting pretty gray. And we would go and do all these, talk. We did Conan. We went to Leno a couple times. We'd be doing Fox and Friends. Billy would always insist on doing his own makeup. And he'd always show up in the lobby prior with, like, his beard would get blacker and blacker. It's like, dude. And then he would do his own makeup. It was like stage makeup. He'd come down. And, we go to the Tonight Show, right? I mean, these makeup artists are pretty good. I mean, you got Jennifer Aniston in the room next to us. And they're good enough for Jennifer. Like, Jennifer Aniston's not doing her own makeup. She doesn't bring her own makeup person. She's using Leno's people. And Billy's like, I got it. And he'd be in there with his little mascara brush, blacking his beard in. But that was his thing, man. He knew it, and he was good at it.
He was. Now, for when you guys did the show, so you only got to shoot one season with him. How much of what you did was manufactured for the show?
Season one actually wasn't that manufactured because what happened is that Tom Beers, and he's the genius behind all this, he created Deadliest Catch and Ice Road Truckers. So he saw something in what we did and the dynamic between Billy and I. So I landed in Vegas September of 2008 when we started filming, and there was a camera crew waiting for us. When I got off the plane, there's these guys with cameras, and we got kicked out of the airport, obviously, because you can't film there. And so they followed us around for like a month, and it was going nowhere. I was even told Billy, I'm like, I don't even know what we're doing. There's just cameras, but I guess they were taking the footage back, and they were kind of going through it, and we'd start taking these pictures from these inventors that they would go on Craigslist and find. So they literally went on Craigslist, said, do you have an idea or anything? And they would do these pitch-a-thons where they'd fly us to Vegas, fly us to LA, and we'd have to sit and listen to all these inventors who they would get through Craigslist. And once it kind of got out in the hemisphere that it was a Discovery Channel show, these inventors started just pouring in. And they knew Billy and they knew me. And so they then went out and found these backstories, these inventors with these great backstories of the struggles that we all lived through. And then we started to make these commercials. And now some of them we wouldn't have done. We wouldn't have done these commercials in real life because these inventors, didn't have the money. But because we were doing the show, we know that they needed great content. So we're like, all right, we'll help that guy out. We'll help the kid out. We'll help the guy with the cup holder, the guy with the impact gel. So it was actually a risky strategy from a business standpoint because we were doing products that had the chances of them working was slim, but the backstory was great. And then I remember Tom sat us down we had dinner in the Valley somewhere on Ventura Boulevard, and it's funny, Jamie Foxx was sitting next to us. I'll never forget it. And Tom kind of called us in like Don Corleone from The Godfather, to this summit meeting. And Billy and I, man, this must be. He's like, you guys got to be there, and don't be drinking too much wine before I get there. I got to talk to you guys. So I thought maybe we're gonna get fired. And he said, I got the show because I know what this show is now. We're about 3 or 4 months into filming. He said, this show is not about you two. Which we're like, what? Well, it's supposed to be about us. He says, no. You guys are the dream makers. He goes, this is about the little guy that needs a shot. It was 2009, so the housing downturn, people were losing jobs, there's people getting their houses repossessed. Obama was just getting into power. It was a crappy economical, environment. And Tom is like, you guys are going to be like a ray of sunshine. And he nailed it. It wasn't manufactured. Some of the, they manufactured some of the drama. They would always try and get me and Billy to be at each other's throats. And that was pretty easy to do anyway.
How would they do it? Could you give an example?
Well, to start with, they give me a project and say, right, Sully, we need you to be, you're going to be the pitch guy for this. And Billy, like I said, he never wanted me to be the pitch guy. So they wouldn't even tell him. And they like, you got to come to the studio tomorrow and you're going to be the guy for the pan or whatever. So and then Billy would come in and be like, okay. And then they'd be like, oh, Sully's already in there doing it. And Billy would just go ballistic. Any conflict that they could create. I mean, it was even when we did the Tonight Show, there's no doubt in my mind that Billy was a bigger, if we went out, Billy, they wanted the picture. I held the camera inevitably for Billy. Because, people wanted a picture of Billy and they'd be like, hey, Sully, get in the shot too, or take it I had my own group of people. But and Billy was always, he would say to me, I want this for you, buddy. I want you to feel what it's like to have, And I would see it and I'm like, man, it's exhausting. Like taking pictures all the time and smiling and signing autographs, you know what it's like. I mean, it's fun, but it's very exhausting if you just want to get on a plane. And there's everyone on the plane wants to take a picture with you. It takes 30 minutes, 45, including the captain, Mm-hmm. So Billy would be like, I want this for you, buddy. I want this for you. And I'd be like, buddy, I'm fine. I'm having a great time. We got our own show. We got equal billing. We're both executive producers. We both get the same amount of screen time. I said, you're the guy they want the picture with. I don't give a crap. So on the Tonight Show, but the one thing I did tell him, I said, look, whenever we get the Tonight Show, if they want just you, I said, I want to do it. Because Leno had him on twice. And I would go to the Tonight Show. And Jay was great. Jay's like, yeah, Sully, you'll have your time. You'll have your time. It's just Billy for now. I just need Billy. And I was like, no problem. But I did say to Billy, I'm like, if you can get me on the Tonight Show with you on the couch, I said, I'll take that. It's like going to the Super Bowl, right? I want to play. Don't bench me. Like, let me just make one play. Conan called when Conan took over, and we got on the Tonight Show, the two of us. And I remember, I was doing laps around my hotel room, like, gonna be on the Tonight Show. This is awesome. I didn't know who the guest was, so we get there, and it's Billy's third time, my first time to be on the couch, and they say, okay, the producers come in. They're like, all right, great, you guys are gonna be great. Lisa Kudrow's going on from Friends, and we met Lisa, and Elvis Costello's the musical guest. I'm like, Elvis Costello, this is amazing. So, and then, by the way, Billy goes, who's sitting next to Conan? And they go, Sully is. And Billy's like, what do you mean? He goes, no, that's never going to fly. And I said, no. I said, Billy, I think I wrote about it in my book.
Yeah, you did. I remember this story. I was going to ask you. I'm glad you got to it.
Yeah, Billy was pissed. He almost packed his shit up and left. He was so pissed about not being sitting next to Conan. And I was like, I was having a party on the inside. I'm like, I gotcha. I'm going to do it. So, and then right before we walk out, he kind of admitted, he realized that was the way they wanted it. And, if that's what Conan wanted, that's what Conan's going to get. Like, it's his show. And he's smart enough to know that he's not going to push it too far. So they also said, because of that, when we walk out, I get to walk out first, right? Which I'm like, this is just beautiful for me. I'm like, he's seething. He's like, wait, no. Saul doesn't walk out, but I walk out first. And I'm like, hey, buddy. I'm like, that's what I'm walking out. So we're standing behind this big metal curtain. It's like these metal beads, big heavy curtain. And the music's thumping, and I'm a nervous wreck. I mean, I don't know what it's like to walk out in the Super Bowl, but I'm like, can't screw this up. It's the biggest, longest running show in American television history. And we're about to get our day in the sun. I am. And, so I'm like all prepared to get out there, and he just shoves me from behind. He just pushes me out the way. And if you watch it, if you ever see the playback, you can see me and he comes out waving to the crowd. And I'm like, well, I'll tell you, I'm like, motherfucker, can't believe you just did that. And I'm walking out, but I'm smiling, right? Because there's millions of people watching. And I'm like, I'm going to knock you out. I am going to knock your ass on the ground right here on the Tonight Show. We're going to get in a fist fight here. And this was one of 1,000 times we go at it. And if you sit next to Conan, I'm going to tackle you. Like, so he goes for the spot next to Conan. Lisa Kudrow's already on the couch. And I'm like, well, I guess I get to sit next to Lisa Kudrow. And then he sits down and he moves over and I slide in. And I got off when we finished. We were on the air for 9 minutes. And when we finished, I was dying. I went up to him, why do you have to do that? So the irony there is there's a lot of things that happened that year. I think I was saying that's the last thing that we ever did on TV together. And his whole year, he's like, I want this for you, I want this for you, and I got it. I got the Tonight Show with him, and that was the last thing we ever did together. It was the last time we were ever on TV together. It was the last night I ever saw him. So the last thing that we ever did was that, and I was so grateful for that moment. And we went out, we had a few drinks, to say the least. We had knocked back because we filmed at 4 p.m, right? So we stayed up till 11. So between 6 and 11, we're pounding Tecates in some Mexican bar in LA. So by the time we got to watch it, we were both pretty loaded. And the bartender was trying to kick us out. We're like, dude, no, we're on the Tonight Show. And the bartender's like, shut up. And we're at the Amarana Hotel in Burbank. And the bartender's like, and I'm like, you won't give us a beer? And he's like, the bar's closed. And I'm like, go up to our damn room. So we both go up to our rooms. We crack a couple beers. We come down. We're like, turn the TV on, turn the TV on. He's like, shut up. I'm closed. And then he's like, holy shit, you guys are on the Tonight Show. I'm like, told you.
Oh, I love it. What if you'd have turned to Billy and said, Billy, when you were sitting in position 8, Billy, I want this for you. I want you to know how this feels.
Yeah. So it was great, and it was very poignant because, when he died, I know we're talking a lot about Billy right now, but it's when he died, I thought to myself, because I didn't realize then that I'd never see him again. And I remember going up to his room because I had to get his room to get to my room. And I'm like, hey, buddy, get some rest. We just finished filming. He was super tired. And I just said, man, I'm going to England for a little while. Just get some rest and we'll come back and we'll crack out season 2. And it never happened. But I had great memories, man. Great. He's my closest friend and I miss him a lot.
Is there anyone else now that you have as no one can replace him, but that's like a cohort or someone that you've been working with consistently?
There's a couple guys that I came up with on the road. There's kind of, I don't know if anyone really knows him. He does some Fuller products. Was a good friend of Billy. He's a guy called John Florell. He's a great pitch guy. And there's a couple other people I work with, but nobody had his presence and his look. I mean, it was weird. It was a strange look, Billy. I don't even know why people liked him. Because I'd look, and sometimes he'd be yelling, and I'm like, dude, what is it with you that people connect? And he'd get pissed about that. What do you mean? I'm like, dude, you're like loud, and you're screaming at the TV, and you're this crazy black beard. I'm like, what is it? And he would find that insulting, which I guess you could take it that way. And he's like, yeah, just your crazy British whatever. So no, I haven't really. What I've tried to do is just focus on being as good as I can be. And keeping his memory alive while moving the ball forward. It's like I find that the loss. You got to make lemonade from lemons, is the saying, right? You got to find some reason, because if you live in the misery and the tragedy of losing your closest friend, you're never going to get anywhere. So I tried to put it over here. I like talking about it now because it's been 7 or 8 years, and I really, learned a lot from him. He's a great guy, and I don't really want to. I don't know. It's like, when you play for a great team, right? Your relationship. Who's your favorite team you ever played for?
Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, you were college, but with Green Bay, it's difficult, right? You play for another team, but that relationship with Green Bay is, it's never. No one's going to take that away. No one's going to replace that.
Yeah, no question. And that's and the cool thing is that you guys have all of these times that you filmed stuff together that you can go back and watch for the rest of your life if you ever want to. Like, hey, let me dial up some YouTube clips of Billy and myself and see if I need to get a laugh or something.
Yeah, I mean, there's stuff he would do. He fell out of a chair in an episode. He fell in a bathtub. I mean, I just
And that's all like real. He didn't do that for the camera.
that falling off a chair in the season, it was totally real. I mean, I remember just sitting there like, how do you? It'd be like me falling out of this chair right now, and he wasn't drunk. He's just leaning forward, and then the chair went, and he ends out like flat on, and then bangs his head on the table when he gets up. I'm like, dude, you got to be careful, man. It wasn't for the cameras; that was for real. Yeah, so
I love it. He was a character. Now I know you have a book coming out called "You Get What You Pitch For," and I was lucky enough actually to read an advanced copy. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that or not, but it was really I didn't know what I didn't. So my expectations going into reading your book, I was like, all right, I'm not sure what I had. No expectations. I didn't know what it was going to be, and I was really impressed with how it's a great for anyone that's in any kind of sales or business or persuasion, relationships. It's a great, like, it teaches you how to not only just sell yourself or persuade people to go with you. I just feel like it relates to a lot of different people and not just someone that wants to sell products on TV.
Yeah, firstly, thank you for reading it. It means that it's my first book, and it's the most difficult thing I've done, and I wanted to make it great. And my mom read it, and my mom called me, and she says, very much similar actually to you. She says, I wasn't expecting anything. She says, but I'm really surprised. My friend Paul Moriarty, who's a politician in New Jersey, he read it, and he's a tough critic, and he's like, dude, your book's okay. It's not, it's good. And it's great to hear you say that. And I really appreciate it. For anybody watching or listening, I didn't pay AJ anything. That was right from his heart. So, I didn't go to college, and I had this dream when I was a kid to come to America to pursue a career on television once I realized that I'd learned how to pitch. And I started off selling car washes, and then I sold mops. And I got made fun of by all my friends, because they're going to college to get these big degrees and these fancy degrees in accounting or law. And I'm schlepping mops for a living. And I remember everyone laughed at me. My mom, the only thing that kept me going was I made money doing it, and I loved it. Like, I just loved the connection with the people. I liked the showmanship. And that mop, I ended up selling everything I had and coming to America with just this idea that somehow I was going to get this thing on television and I was going to make it work. And the key moments in my life, when I look back at it and I go through them through the book, whether it was selling myself to the guy that taught me to sell the car wash, then learning how to sell the mop, and then coming to America and pitching my way through the lower 48, living in the back of my van, and then finally pitching my way onto a TV network when I was 23 and getting a break. And then even pitching my TV show to Discovery Channel, all these key things that happened all kind of came back to how I was pitching it. And I am like, man, it doesn't matter whether you're pitching a mop, a TV show, pitching yourself for a job, which I did when I pitched to HSN. I thought so much of it depends on your pitch. I mean, I tell you right now, you could be a great football player, and you are and were a great football player, and they look at they look at you, how you play, right? But they also, how do you get along with the team? You're going to be the guy in the locker room who's going to bring everyone down, or are you going to be the guy that's just back there motivating everyone, kicking, and getting out there, and a great team with great talent without the right attitude and that winning attitude, and that, this is my pitch. My pitch is we're going to win the Super Bowl this year. We're not going to get in the Super Bowl. We're going to do this. And I feel like so many aspects of life where whether you get the girl, get the date, get the job, get on the Tour de France cycling team, you got to go in and pitch yourself against a lot of people who are as good or better than you. And sometimes it's how you make your case, how you pitch. A lot of people might disagree with me, but we got a president right now who pitched his way into the presidency. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people may say, well, he got it for this, and Hillary fans may say this, but if you break it down, take away all the political opinion and take away the Russian hack, whatever it is, if you just look at who was out there, who had the pitch that seemed to resonate, it's a great pitch, and I feel that, when you're out looking for a date and you see that girl on the other side of the bar, she's cutting down guys, and you walk up and what are you going to do that's going to blow them away? I hired 2 people recently in my office who I looked at their resumes briefly. I didn't check them out, didn't call their references. I was like, you know what? That's a great pitch. You got the job. I feel that pitching is so important. So I tried to go over that in the book. I break it down into my pitching powers. I don't want to get too into it because I want people to read it. I talk about you said it just now about you want it to be, people to persuade people, right? You're trying to persuade, you want what I got or you need what I've got. And I talk about, it's trying to get someone just to agree with you, right? This is what we're doing. This is where we're going. And the fierce agreement, which is on the front cover, I want you to buy. I want you to pick me to be on your team. I want you to, say yes to the date. It's not just we're going to agree. We have a deal, right? You're going to give me the money now. We did it. This is where we're eating tonight, right, kids? Yeah, this is where we're going. So I feel like there's a lot riding on anyone's ability to pitch, and to me it's very simple. It's something I was maybe born with, and I've learned how the skill. But I really wanted to try and help that sort of shy person that doesn't think they can do it.
What's the biggest mistake you think someone makes when they're trying to close, say, a business deal? They're trying to get a girl to talk to them. Like, what's the biggest mistake?
I think that the fear of failure makes the desperation, right? It's that the have to make the sale now, and I think you can see fear in your eyes. You can play a longer game. You don't have to, you don't have to. And it's strange because when I was selling mops, of course I wanted to make the sale, but you're not going to make every single sale. You're not going to close every deal. Not every girl is going to say yes, and you're not going to win every game, not every season. You are going to have losses, and I think some people go in with this got to win all the time attitude, and it's like, relax a little bit. Let's take a breath. Let's go in with our best foot forward. Let's put our best foot forward. Let's make our pitch, make it great, and if it's right, it will all just fall into place like it's automatic. And if it isn't right, you know what? As long as your pitch was great, you couldn't have done any better. It doesn't matter. And I think the fear of failure is, and accepting the fact that it's not going to work all the time, but I can teach you how to get it to work more times than it doesn't.
What would you say to somebody who is working for a company or they're in any kind of sales and their product that they're selling is not that great? Like, I'm sure you've had to try to sell some stuff that's garbage. Like, how do you overcome?
I think you got to get out of it.
Yeah.
For me, it's very difficult to have sold anything that I didn't absolutely love. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I have made mistakes, and I actually spoke about it yesterday. I sold a folding chair in my early days that someone told me, this chair, we're going to make so much money. Anyway, it was defective. It was 100% callback. And I remember I had a feeling it was too good to be true. And I'm like, you know what, I probably shouldn't be doing this. And it bit me. And I learned then, it's like you need to find the product that really resonates with you. And if you're not into it, try and find something where you are into it. Now, I know that's difficult because, some people are, the opportunities are slim, but that's when you have to go out there and find something that if you really love selling houses and that's what you want to do and be in real estate, if you love doing it, it shows. And you can tell a realtor who's just doing it because they got laid off and someone who's doing it because they're like into it. They know the market. I think it's, for me, I can tell you right now, I had CNN here yesterday and they kind of laid out like 10 products in front of me and they were like, can you pitch all these? They're all mine. And I'm like, man, that's tough because 10 in one hit. But I laid them all out, and I was like, okay, that's my go-to line there. It's my go-to line there. And I went down the line, and I kind of nailed like a little 15, 20-second piece on each one. And they were at the end, they were like, dude, that's incredible. How'd you do that? And I just know the pitch. And they're like, that's unbelievable. But the reason is I work with all the products. I use the products. I have them at home. I love them. I sold them. And it comes across. Like OxiClean. I did my laundry this morning. I had a scoop to every load of laundry. It's tough to sell a product you're not into, and that's when you get into timeshare, and I feel like yeah, like the timeshare guys, and then you get into the guy that will sell you a crappy car, right? He just wants to make the deal. You drive it off the lot and it blows up. You know, I think that's why used car salesmen have a rap. But I got a girl working for me now who just used to work at CarMax, and she has come into my organization and blown the doors off. But this girl, she loves cars. She knows more about cars than me. She's unbelievable. So I look for the people who are really into what they're doing. I mean, I listen to Lance Armstrong's podcast. I mean, if you listen to his Stages podcast, and you can tell Lance is into cycling, man. He just, I can listen to Lance talk about cycling all day. He's just into it, and it's just, it comes across. So.
Yeah, he does have a good podcast. It's interesting to listen to him talk, but it made me think of something when they laid out the 10 products and you thought, okay, this is my go-to line here for this. Do you feel like, do you feel pressure to come up with like taglines for certain products? The one that comes to mind, I don't know who the guy is, but he has like the oven and he says, you set it and forget it. I assume you know that guy.
Yes, Ron Papil. Set it and forget it. Yeah, we, OxiClean gets the tough stains out.
Did you come up with that?
Me and Billy came up with that. One of the reasons I have had my go-to lines is because every now and then, in the middle of a pitch, I'll actually tune out sometimes because I've done it so many times, or something will happen, or I'll forget something, and I gotta go somewhere. I gotta have like my rescue. It's my bail line, right? My go-to. It's like I'm changing gears. I'm like, shit, what am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? Something happened, like something broke or something got like through my attention. So I'll be like, cat hair, dog hair, long hair, short hair, your hair, my hair, the swivel sweeper gets it all. And then I'll be like, while I'm doing that, because that's just coming out. I'm not even thinking about it. That's like hit a button. And while I'm doing that, I'm thinking about, all right, got to go over here. And then I'll reset. So some of those taglines are I think to make it memorable, right? Like people remember, set it and forget it. They just do. I mean, he patented that line. He has a copyright on it.
Really?
You can't say, you and I can never say set it and forget it. Like
it's true. It makes you. I remember it, and I remember it's some kind of oven, or you're baking or cooking something.
Showtime rotisserie oven. Ron Papil was a master. I know Ron well. Ron's a great guy. He's a master Jedi Knight, Obi-Wan Kenobi of pitching. He's in there. Like there was me and Billy's kind of years, and then there's Ben, Uncle Ben, and that's Obi-Wan. That's Ron Papil.
How's the internet changed what you do? You're speaking back in '94 and you're at HSN. Like now with the internet, it seems like a different world. Like how was your life different?
It's made it better and it's made it harder. Our audience, we went from selling on. You got to figure, me and Billy. I mean, I was living in the back of my van, slinging mops out of a van on a 10x10 piece of linoleum at the Ohio State Fair, which I think starts this weekend, right?
That just happened, actually.
It did. That was right. I actually lived in my van inside the circle at the Ohio State Fair. There's a field. Yeah, so I spent the whole. It just finished.
Yeah, I believe it's just finished. If you saw there was a ride that malfunctioned and some people fell off like a week ago.
Yeah, no, I didn't see it. So so that was. So we went from selling, off a 10x10 piece of lino to home shows, to the TV stations, to Walmart everywhere, and now to Amazon. So you can imagine, if you look at the growth curve of our sales curve, we'd start off selling 50 mops a day to, I don't know how many we sell now, but last year we sold over 5 million Atomic Beam USAs. The Turbo Scrub is in the millions last year. So our audience has got bigger, but the competition's got fierce. I mean, we're competing against Amazon. We're on Amazon, but Amazon, obviously, the way Bezos has set it up, it's very competitive. But it's allowed us to reach a much wider audience. That what the internet has done, and it makes me sad a little bit. It's made it difficult to pitch on the street anymore, because people will sit there and they'll go on they'll watch me, say you're selling something on a street corner doing your spiel, and they'll sit on their phone and see if they can buy it cheaper on Amazon and get it 3-day, get it Amazon Prime to their house. So it's sort of, I think eventually will stifle the art of the street pitch. Is that beat bugging you at all? You're not hearing it?
No, I can hear it, but it's all right. I don't
know how to get it off.
What are you getting, emails or something? It's all right. You're good.
Yeah, this is one of my girl's computers because my camera's broken on my phone. If it becomes incessant and annoying, we'll try and fix it. But yeah, so I feel like the pipeline for great pitch people is probably going to go away. So, but it's like the music industry's changed so much, right? And people are still out there performing and busking on street corners. I feel like every single industry is adapting and moving because of the internet. So we'll see. Right now we're busier than ever. We're making more money than ever. And I'm using all the tools on the internet that are available to help the business grow.
Do you still do? And is there still a market for these commercials, or a live show on HSN where you're filming something to sell, say, OxiClean? Is that for regular cable TV that people aren't really subscribing to anymore? Is that still a market?
It's really interesting because HSN looks like it's going to merge with QVC. So those two networks are joining forces, and John Malone, Liberty Group's involved with that. The CEO of HSN just went to Weight Watchers. Video obviously is the key to us to sell great product. We have to make a commercial. Now, a live television streaming, it's all streaming now, and the immediacy of it it's not such an you don't have to buy now. If you call now, I'll throw in $19.95, and you also get the signed Dan Marino football, a $150 value, absolutely free. I'll also throw in a bottle of water and ship it to you. That is gone away, right? Because everyone knows that you can get it on Amazon. So I think that for us as a video production company, and me as a pitch guy, working with great products, and we're filming one today in my studio, as long as I got the content and we pump it out on YouTube, on any platform that will take us, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, live shopping, and regular cable. But I do think that the traditional TV ad is obviously going to go away because we're not watching cable. I don't know about you, but I go home and I'll watch Billions or Game of Thrones or Shameless. I very rarely, apart from sports and occasionally news, which now I don't even watch that because it's hard to watch. You don't watch much live TV anymore.
No, everything's on demand. I have four young kids. My 6 and 4-year-old, I put on Disney Channel and everything, but they don't understand what a commercial is. They get so frustrated. Dad, what's that? Fast forward, Dad, what's going on? I'm like, no, it's live. You guys don't get it.
Right. I know. It's kind of, I love the thing that could be the eventual end of my business, right? Because I love the fact that I can fast forward through commercials, and I'm like, God damn it, why should never be liking that? I need that commercial airtime. But we'll figure a way to get out there, whether it's, you look at YouTube now, it's hard to watch decent YouTube content without watching an ad. Google's figured it out. And I think it all comes down to advertising dollars, and we're advertising. We're advertising, and I think we'll always be out there. The great thing is Walmart has really invested heavily in our business. So, Walmart, we're in 70,000. We're actually, our products are in 70,000 stores around the country. So, yeah.
Wasn't that how big of a step was that? I've heard if you can get, even if you sell pencils, if you can get them on a shelf in Walmart, it changes your life. Yeah,
Walmart make an order, they make a big order. It will change. It can also, if you can't finance Walmart, and if you have to be careful how you manage. And we have a whole team of people in Bentonville that work on just Walmart, because if you sell too many in, they're coming back. And if Walmart doesn't sell them through and you can't take them back, they want markdown money. So if you sell it in for $10 and they're selling it for $20 and it doesn't sell, they'll be on the phone saying, AJ, we need a 50% discount on your invoice. Otherwise, it's all coming back. So it's very, very lucrative and very dicey. So it has to be handled very well. But yeah, it's a huge account. I'm so grateful for our relationship with Walmart. It's amazing.
Are you an inventor? Do you come up with products?
No, I'm not an inventor, not a real. The only invention that I've actually invented and do use, and I think I have the only one in the world, I'm a competitive swimmer. And I was 225 pounds. I'm 202 this morning, so I'm actually on a bit of a downhill, trying to manage my weight a little better. But pool boys, do you ever swim?
Yeah.
Do you ever use a pool boy between your legs?
No, I don't think so.
Piece of styrofoam that goes between your legs, and what it does is it elevates your butt and it stops you from kicking, so it gives you a very good shoulder workout. All pool boys are the same size. So I would use a pool boy with my other swimmers, and they're all like 160 pounds, and they would just kick my ass. And I was like, man, I must be a terrible, but I could swim as fast as them. But the minute I use a pool boy, these guys would just be gone. So then I figured out it's a flotation thing, right? So I got 2 pool boys and I glued them together. And I called it the big ass pool boy because obviously I'm a big guy. So now I got double flotation, and now I can keep up with all of them. So I have the only big ass pool boy in the world, and I actually made one for another guy. My whole criteria for owning it is you have to be over 200 pounds, and there aren't that many swimmers who are good or over 200 pounds. So that's the only thing I've invented. I've never sold it, but no, I'm a pitchman first, marketer, producer second. I don't think I've ever had time to invent because I'm too busy working with other people's great inventions. And we get some amazing inventions. I get a mop today. I get excited about mops. Right? I don't know what it is. If I see a new mop, so they sent me this mop. I can't go into it too much because it's top secret. But when you see it, I'll send you one. I literally almost freaked out in my kitchen. I am like, this is the single greatest thing. It's like the iPhone of mops. Really? So I have the iPhone of mops. This thing is going to change the way, and I've done this a few times. The Hurricane Spin mop, we sold millions of that. That was amazing. The smart mop. So every 5 years, I come across a new way to clean the floor. So I have all these new inventions. My office is filled. I have about 50 inventions in there right now that I got to get in and shoot. So we're crazy busy down here. So you need to come down and be in a commercial with me.
You're in St. Petersburg? I
am, yeah. Buccaneer town.
I tell you what, that you have me sold. I'm kind of excited about this mop. Maybe it's just because you kept this like cloud of mystery to it. Like, man, what could this be?
I literally can't get into it because I have to wait till I got to get 1 million on order from China already. I got to make sure we have it all set up, and then I have to shoot the commercial. And when we roll it out, it'll roll out everywhere. I'll come back on the show, or I'll come up to your studio, I'll mop the floors, and we'll do a live in-person podcast.
Oh, that sounds amazing. So what, the people that invented this mop, they send it to you so you can film a video, and then you get a fee or a piece of it?
Yeah, we kind of have these feeder companies. They know what we do, and we have guys all over the world looking for the next big thing. And it's funny how they could do it themselves. Like me, we get a camera, but they know that me and my team, we know how to pitch mops better than anyone. So a lot of the time they send us it's almost like a musical artist. Like, look at the producers like Quincy Jones, give me a Britney, give me a Justin, give me a Miley. I know how to make him sound good. I know I can make a mop sing. So I get excited about mops. Some people get excited about girls. Some people get excited about football. I get when I see a good mop, I'm like, I see the bucket and it's filled with dollar bills or 20 or hundreds.
Some people get excited about all three of those things.
Yeah, well, that's me too.
Yeah, that's what I thought of. Doug, final couple questions. The one thing that stuck out to me, do you ever get mistaken for the ShamWow dude that got arrested?
No.
What's his name? Vince? Vince, are you friends with him?
This is another funny story too. We were backstage with Leno at the peak of our PitchMen filming, and Billy had a beef with Vince. He had a feud with him, and he wanted to dial it up a little bit to ratchet it up because Vince had knocked him off with the ShamWow, or at least Billy felt that he had. So he stepped on Billy's turf. So it's like East Coast, West Coast thing. So Billy's going to kick Vince's ass. So it got quite well known because Adam Carolla and some people sort of blew it up a little bit. And then Jay Leno comes in the green room and he's like, "Hey, Sully," he goes, "Did you see Vince got arrested?" And Billy's sitting right next to me. I'm in the green room, backstage at the Tonight Show, and I said, "There's no way Vince got arrested." He goes, "No, he got arrested with a hooker and the blood," and then he expanded it, and his tongue got bit off. And I'm telling Jay to knock it up. I'm like, knock it up, Jay. Billy's nervous. We need to talk about what we're going to do. And then Jay's like, look it up on Smoking Gun. And so I had my laptop, and I remember it. So I type in Vince Offer Smoking Gun, and sure enough, he's got beat up, blood all over him. Anyway, Billy had a field day with that. He just ripped into Vince Shlomi, which is his real name. So I kept the feud alive a little bit. Vince had a product called the Sticky Roller or something, and I beat his ass with my Sticky Buddy. If you go on YouTube and look at the Djibouti dub of the Sticky Buddy, it's got 20 million views. That was just to keep the feud alive with Vince. And then we were both staying at the Peninsula Hotel in Chicago, and we're both feuding. And I must have been in the elevator like 2 seconds before him, so we could have technically both been in the elevator at the same time, which probably would have led to a fist fight. I don't know, but no, I know Vince. He's always been nice to me. I enjoy the feud. He's always, every time I see him, he's very professional and respectful, and I am nice, you know. But it's a healthy rivalry. But my face is a little straighter than his.
Well, I recall, I don't remember the year.
I should never say that, you know, because I'm probably going to have a stroke when I get out of this, and I'm going to have a sideways face, and I'll regret saying that.
You'll find a good way to use it, though. You'll pitch yourself even. It'll be your thing, like Billy's beard. That'll be you. But with Vince he kind of got a raw deal. It sounded like he had a consensual situation with a prostitute lady, and she freaked out and bit his tongue off. Is that right?
Well, so he was actually out in Miami with a friend of mine that night. And they were out in a limo, and they were outside the Cité Hotel or something, and he had a place at the Cité, and allegedly he disappeared with this chick who I guess was a prostitute or call girl or working girl, whatever you want to call her. And this is all what I think I know. And I guess he didn't have the money, or something went bad, and she bit his tongue. And I've heard, I don't know if Vince told me, because we were having, and he's like, it freaking hurts when somebody bites your tongue. So I guess when you've got a hooker attached to your tongue, the only thing left to do is to try and knock her out. So I guess, I mean, I've never been in that situation. So it turns out that his stage name is Vince Offer, but his real name is Vince Shlomi. So when he got booked he went to hospital, obviously, to get his tongue stitched up. So when he obviously had to spend a couple of days in there before they could arrest him or whatever. But it took about 5-day lead time before it all kind of hit the wire, and there was the mugshot. I think him and Nick Nolte got the best mugshots in the history of mugshots. And I think Vince did get a raw deal. I mean, look, hey, if you're gonna pay for sex, all right, okay, why do you have to bite my tongue? So it kind of made him the bad boy of pitching. I got to be honest. I was like, dude, that's pretty dope. If you're gonna break a hotel room up, you know, like rock stars like to smash hotel rooms up. I'm like, get your tongue bit off by a hooker. It's pretty hard. It's pretty hard to beat. I think he's the only person in the world that's got his tongue bit by a hooker.
He's definitely the only pitchman that has had that happen. So that'll be his thing moving forward. It'll really endear him to the younger millennials, probably.
Yeah, he started hanging out with Lindsay Lohan after that. I don't know how that went, but I don't think they dated, but hopefully Lindsay didn't try anything on him.
Oh man! All right, Anthony. Really,
you know what I like though, and I'll give Vince some props because I love having the rivalry. It's why I get up in the morning. You know, what would Green Bay be? What would you be if you didn't have someone to face off against? You know, that's, even though I love doing what I do, I love it when there's another pitchman who I have a beef with, who's taking my turf and taking my territory. That gives me reason to get up and come in here and absolutely kick ass and take it to him. The nice thing is I'm difficult to beat because I'm up earlier, I work harder, work longer, have better products. And I also got the code in the book. All right, okay? I wrote the book on pitching. Vince, I don't think Vince could write a page, let alone a book.
No way. Competition brings out the best in all of us. That's been known for a long time. So, Anthony, where do you want people to find you if they to go find all your stuff and all your great new things, including this mop you keep talking about?
Yeah, listen, I'm on all the social media channels. Like, it's difficult to keep up with. Anthony Sullivan on Facebook, Sully on TV, on Twitter, Instagram. I'd love it if you follow me on Instagram. I got on the Instagram train late. Sully on TV on Instagram, and actually come down to my office. I'm in Clearwater. You can probably Google me. My office is, we don't have a security system. If you really, really want to come down and just come, knock on the door. My assistant's name is Veronica. At first, right, and come into my office, come say hi, bring me $1 million product. I'm pretty easy to get. I'm not going to tell you where I live, but I'm pretty accessible. I have to be because of the business that I'm in, so I don't like to insulate myself. But please don't bring me any crap products, only good products if you're listening. All right, like mops. All right, mops, any cleaning products, any sweepers. I like sweepers. So, yeah. And I'm trying to think, Facebook. And the book's available on Amazon.com as well. So hit Amazon, and someone's writing someone down here. Book signing? Come over here. Tell me, say hi. This is
probably
Kat.
Pre-sale.
Yeah, I'm going to
Hello.
Hello.
She's in the background, like, say this, say that. I'm going to be in Columbus tomorrow. What am I doing in Columbus tomorrow? I've got.
Speaking at Ohio State.
I'm sorry. I'm doing a whole day in Columbus tomorrow, so I'm going to be speaking at Ohio State. So I'm kind of nervous about it because I haven't spoken for a while in public.
Who are you speaking to?
I'm speaking to a bunch of grad students in the business school. So they're pretty bright students, and I'm going to try and shed some light on how pitching can help you in business. And I'm looking forward to it. It's the first time I've done it for a while, so I want it to be great. But first time out on anything is a little nerves. But I'm quietly confident. I think I got it.
Oh, you'll do great. I'm sure you will. So, all right. Thanks so much for your time. We will we'll send people.
How do you, AJ,
everything.
how do you get your hair looking so good like that?
That's a good question. I don't know. I put some, like, what is it? The pomade paste type stuff and just put it in.
What do you use? I got to try some because the part is good.
It's called, I'll take a picture.
You know what it is. Don't pretend you don't know.
No, I'm always on the search for different stuff. I've used it all. I've honestly tried.
The Redken Rough Paste, you ever try that?
No. I know what you're talking about. I see it at Walgreens, I think.
Yeah, I like your hair better than like this.
Yeah, as long as you're hooking up a picture of my long straight hair. Yeah, I had some long hair for a while,
Those of you right now, AJ's got some pretty badass looking hair right there. So
I tried for a little bit. Let it go. All right, man. Thanks so much. We'll link everything up for you, but good luck down the road, and we'll hopefully talk again later.
Thank you, AJ. Appreciate it. And if I'm in town, I'll come find you. All right?
Sounds good. Thanks. See ya.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
We're glad you could join us for today's conversation. After you subscribe to the show, head over to thehawkcast.com or reach out to AJ directly on Twitter at @officialAJHawk to recommend future guests that will help us inspire people to keep talking. Thanks again, and we look forward to speaking with you next time on the HawkCast.